Thank you, Governor Lee. Appreciate it, the invitation. Hello, good afternoon. School reopening is upon us. As of today, we have about a third of the districts in the state of Tennessee who have opened. We'll have another third of districts that will open next week, and about 20% that will open over the last 2 weeks of August. About half of our districts are opening full in-person with a remote option. We have 10 school districts who will be opening remote only. The remaining 43% of districts will have some version of hybrid. What the good news is all of our districts have some version of remote learning for those families who need it. But what we're finding is across the state, for the 50% of districts who are opening full in person, about 20% of parents are choosing the remote option. The rest are choosing to send their children to school in person. And so that's the current status of school reopening here in the state of Tennessee. One of the things that we've been working on, and I think to the governor's point about focusing on high quality instruction for all students, regardless of the seat that they are sitting in, is we've been working as a state on continuous learning plans. Now, these are plans that help outline what learning should look like in a remote setting if a child is being educated in that way. I want to give a brief update on that because, again, wherever a child is sitting, they do deserve the right to a high quality education, and we are helping to make sure that that takes place. Our districts have been working incredibly hard. We've received 222 plans as of this morning. 100% of our public charter schools have submitted plans, and we have plans for about 2/3 of our school districts. The remaining 1/3 have an extension until the end of the month based on their reopening plans. In all cases, approved plans demonstrate a high bar for the education they will be providing for their students. And I want to commend both the superintendents as well as their district teams for putting so much time and energy into very creative solutions for what has been an unexpected year. And so they've been just working incredibly hard throughout the summer on these plans. Last week, we talked a little bit about PPE and some of the resources that we are devoting as a state to help keep staff safe and healthy when they return to school buildings. I want to again thank the governor for investing $77 million in teacher kits. On top of that, there are nurse kits, and we are excited to say school nutrition workers and additional staff will also receive critical supplies. Now, this is on top of what we already expect our districts to be providing to their schools and to their district sites. We know they are doing that investment and working really closely with school sites to provide as much safety material and equipment as possible. But our teachers will receive masks, face guards, disinfecting wipes, and hand sanitizer as well as gloves. Those initial supply kits are in process of being delivered. Some have been delivered already, and we have a single point of contact at every school who, when supplies get low, will be able to refill and restock and reorder. And that way, all teachers and staff will have those critical materials throughout the school year. But today, and I want to thank TEMA, they've been phenomenal in making sure that that gets out very, very quickly. Today, though, we're here to talk about academics. We are very proud that we are one of a few states who have prioritized both the health and safety of those folks who are returning to school buildings, but also ensuring that we continue this very strong legacy in Tennessee of accelerated student achievement and growth. And so today we are launching Best for All Central. Best for All Central is an online academic tool, and it will provide school leaders, educators, and families with a suite of academic resources to support student learning in any environment and context. First, there are professional development resources. Now, we've talked a little bit about how we offered free principal professional development through the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, as well as free teacher professional development through Trevecca throughout the summer. About half of our principals participated. We have over 20,000 teachers who participated, and those opportunities have continued through August. Best for All Central will add on top of that, and it will offer things like preparing your distance learning classroom, ongoing teaching and learning and remediation supports in a distance learning environment, how to build relationships and communicate routines coming back from extended periods of closure. So those are additional resources we are providing to our educators and leaders across the state. In the coming weeks, we will also continue to add for things like whole child and child well-being supports, as well as to paraprofessionals, et cetera. The tool also has a standards navigator, so for those folks who get really wonky in education, it's a fun tool that you're able to navigate all of the Tennessee state standards for parents to be able to understand what the expectations are with the standards and then link those to actual assessment items that have been used previously on state tests. So if you want to be able to support or check your child's growth at home, you can look up any standard and it will be able to, for math and English, connect to an actual assessment item to see how your child is progressing. Again, we want to make sure that families and educators have as much information as possible as we navigate this year together with our schools and our communities. These resources are available in math and in English language arts, and we will have additional subject areas in the coming weeks. Additionally, we have a series of instructional videos on the site. Those will be in ELA, math, and science, and we will have additional content areas added. And again, that is so families and educators are able to see an entire school year of instruction on video, so that regardless of where the child is being educated, and also because we know that teachers are going to be using some very interesting school models this year, they're going to have additional opportunities to provide remediation for in-person learning for those students who need it. This is a suite of resources that allows for greater flexibility both at home and in the classroom. I want to say thank you to Hamilton County Schools, Overton County Schools, Fentress County Schools, and Marshall County Schools. The educators in those communities are providing a lot of the resources for these videos, and we are offering additional grants to districts who want to submit additional videos. But again, this isn't just the Department of Education. These are superintendents and districts working together with the department to be able to produce resources for all of our educators and families to use across the state. The next site that we are launching today in partnership with Best for All Central is a family remote learning site. It's called Bridging the Distance, Family Remote Learning. I want to say a very special thank you to Trevecca University, who has led this work and provided a pretty phenomenal resource for families. This is a tool to help families navigate the year alongside their districts and schools to best support their children and the needs of their own children. This will have how to navigate learning. It has parents talking to other parents and teachers talking to parents, again, trying to get to that grain size where families can understand what the expectations are and what to expect as the school year progresses. Some of the resources there include Remote Learning 101 training for parents. I'll say we have taken that in our house as well, so it is always something that our families are looking for. How do we support our students and create a learning environment regardless of where they are? And how do we prepare our students to go back into school when they've been out of school for so long? And we know how critically important it is for them to get back in school buildings where the strongest learning can take place. It also has videos, as I said, from parents and teachers to one another, and supports for families with children with disabilities to help ensure that they receive the services necessary to continue to grow and progress. Finally, we have the Foundational Skills Curriculum Supplement. I think most of you know how critical literacy is to our youngest learners and how difficult it is to do that remotely. We know that with school building closures in the spring, too many of our students did not have access to really strong literacy instruction for now 5+ months. The most effective literacy instruction does happen between a teacher and the student in the classroom, and so when we have larger gaps like we've had now or school building closures, it becomes more important than ever that we continue to support and promote effective literacy instruction. So we have this free, completely free, online and optional resource and tool for families and educators to use, again, to support literacy instruction for our youngest learners and to make sure that if there are gaps that they're able to catch up, especially in these critical first months of school. And then finally, I'm very excited to announce that on top of the $50 million that Governor Lee has invested in technology, which purchased over 250,000 devices for students across the state of Tennessee, there is a $15 million grant that we are announcing for Wi-Fi and MiFi. That pays for half a school year. It's a matching grant with districts for the device and for 100,000 households across the state to have access to Wi-Fi and MiFi. We know how critically important it is for as many children as possible, and frankly all children, to have access to the internet. We know now more than ever that continues to be a critical resource. So having 100,000 families, it closes the gap for most of those families who do not currently have access. So we're very grateful for that investment to continue to invest in Tennessee. And one of the things I just want to close with before I have a special greeting for our students who are starting school is I have the great fortune of being able to work closely with 49 other state chiefs as well as territories across the country. We were very grateful to the federal government for investing $26 million that was set aside for the state agency through the ESSER funds. But with all of the funds put together, we have almost 10 times that money for K-12 education, and that's because we have a governor who invests in education. I know our districts are very grateful for that, especially as we reopen schools. To those families and students who are starting, my two started yesterday or the day before yesterday. Hang in there. It's going to be a great year, and your superintendents and your districts have it under control, and they're ready for you. Everyone's excited to see our students. The first day of school is the best day of the year, and so we're just very, very glad and very, very grateful for everyone who's put in the hard work. So with that, thank you very much.